very different. When I was in elementary school, we read out of the history book, round robin.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and then we would discuss it as a whole group after we finished reading it. Today, I would never use round robin in the classroom. I teach social studies through technology. I create PowerPoints. It's hands-on, interactive, and I make it fun because I find that if the student is engaged in learning, he retains more information.
That is very true. How?
I do remember just more of textbooks,
Right.
learning through textbooks, not so much anything really with technology. Well, it's quite different from now for me. I have learned a lot about technology, and I'm trying to play around with that. But a thing that second grade does here is we order the Scholastic News, and we tie the Scholastic News into our social studies.
Okay.
And the cool thing about it too is they have a website that you go on and it pulls the article up, and there's games, there's vocabulary skills, there's extra worksheets that cover the objective. It covers all of the standards for social studies.
Wow, that's
so
awesome.
and then we do the back together, but we just did one today on ice towers in Antarctica, and it was just pretty cool.
Oh, that's
So,
really cool.
yeah.
That's awesome.
And I do there is some websites that I go to pull up current events. So I'm more tying current events and doing a lot of researching and playing around with other websites and Scholastic News. That's kind of what I do for social studies.
I think it's important to learn about life before we were born and how it has changed over time, and to learn more about where we come from.
Okay.
I could teach math all day, and in the language arts, I mean, that's pretty the big bulk of what we do. So we do a lot of integrating.
Right.
So if I don't have enough time for my social studies time at the end of the day, if something's running behind, I know that I can integrate it into my language arts and
Right.
and math too, of course.
By making it fun, engaging, interactive, I like to include hands-on projects. I like to include group work, working with partners. I use the jigsaw method in teaching so they can work together in groups and then take that information that they've learned in groups and go to another group and share that information.
Okay, yeah.
I use literature circles, and I like to keep my students engaged while they are learning.
Definitely the current events of what's updated, and these are colorful, and it's technology, and the kids love it.
All right.
So they, and the researching, we have iPads now. Each classroom has iPads, and I think just the part of that whole technology and the things that are available about social studies, I think that's what they like.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Yeah, if you want to get a book out and they're just kinda like, okay, no. Hands-on, they like to do a lot of hands-on stuff too.
I teach social studies using topics and concepts. I include concepts so the students will know how to use those critical thinking skills that we're always trying to get them to use. The concepts, the students become more critical thinkers, and I think that is essential to 21st learning.
Most definitely.
And I also include the topics so they'll know what we're talking about.
I was going to say both.
Both.
You know, yeah, tie them in with both. I mean, because we have to follow what the curriculum is, and then we dig deeper into those topics.
To be able to read, think, question, and be accountable for everything that they have learned, the ability to learn in reading and comprehending what they have read. I like to bring history to life by using technology. I include PowerPoints. I find videos on YouTube because they reinforce what I've already taught them in class.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I have to teach the curriculum, so I would like them to, whatever objective I'm giving them, I would like them to get that, and history too. You know, things that we've learned in school, and I talk to my kids a lot about social studies, more of like a community,
Right.
things that and team building and stuff too.
Studies through my novel studies that we do in the class. It's easy to do because you just do it pretty much during that time period in which the novel study is going on. And I also like to integrate social studies through science, and just talking about the different ways how things have changed with the time periods.
Oh, yes.
Actually, when we studied Martin Luther King Jr., we found some books, and we did some researching on him. We used iPads to look up. We have our media center has some really cool websites. Basically, I mean, that like our guided reading time, we tie in, like I found different levels of passages on Martin Luther King.
Okay.
And so it kind of gets all the needs met.
My advice to you as a future teacher is, one, in being a good teacher, you have to have a passion for learning, to want to make a difference in a child's life. Some things I would encourage you to do is to visit schools and observe the classroom, see how the students interact with one another, watch the teacher, see how she responds to the students, and always use the internet as a resource. You can find so much information on the internet.
Incorporate those just 21st century skills with social studies and current events. I mean, that's all I've been told, doing current events, but teach what you have to do, your curriculum. But a lot of these objectives, you can tie in to with current events.